alone. Always be alone. Always be alone. We had action in the Uganda FUFA Bet Power Big League across the weekend, and these are some of the results that we got from there. Police on 22nd managed to beat Blacks Power 3-2 coming from behind, and you see Police is actually stuck on the top of the table. They are on mission. Yeah. They're on mission. They're on mission promotion anyway. Lugazi also beat on Morocco 2-1.
Mission of promotion.
Yeah, mission promotion. When you win the first games, Edgar, by the way, in Uganda, it's all about winning the first 10 games. If you win those games, then you are good to be promoted.
And I like Arsenal.
I'm not talking about Arsenal here. We are talking about the Bet Power Uganda Premier League game. Lugazi also beat on Baraka 2-1, and we saw Caesar, the 48. Actually, the 42 aged player. I actually had to mistake and say that, but we had.
What do you get them to?
We had a discussion. We had a discussion with somebody. Who, actually, that was Dennis Bossa, my friend at a certain station in Kampala. He told me this guy is 48, but I was stuck to that age. Anyway, he is a coach player, and he managed to come back after scoring his fifth goal of the season on the Paraka. He consoled on the Paraka through his fifth goal. Yeah. Caesar Okuti, you remember that guy?
Oh, Okuti Tanaweza atano nekati.
Caesar Simon.
Okuti gwemanyi.
I just don't know about that. You're going to get me into problems. You're going to get me into problems. The registered names the registered age is actually 42, but somebody was telling me that guy is Edgar, you're going to get me problems. We also happen to have some other coach here. He's called Coach Junior, the person who takes charge of Mbara Sports Academy together with Coach Salim. That guy played for Express in 2004. He played for SCVR. He played for a certain team called Narubare, but he is just here and he's telling us he's 40. Anyway, that's something.
Under 15. Anything can be possible.
I have your list here of the under 14, but they have still refused to give us the ages. Anyway, we shall actually go down to that point. Calvary also drew with Mbare Heroes 1-1, and Karoka also drew with Kataka 1-1 at home at St. George's Arena. Karoka is actually deteriorating in terms of performance. We just don't know what happened. Anyway, Ndeje University also lost bitterly 3-4. They had actually fought, but they lost 3-4 to Chinda Boys Mitiana. And Boma actually, Boma also beat Chetume 3-2.
Boma
yeah, Boma is from Masindi, and they beat Chetume 3-2 at home, Edgar. According to how those results transcended, we have the table as follows. And Police still leading after 9 games. They were actually having 22 points after 9 games, Edgar. Police is on mission. And Lugazi also after 9 games, they had 18. Blacks Power also after 10 games, they had 17 points. We see Mbari Heroes after 10 games, they had 17 points. They are coming in 4th position. Edgar, you cannot imagine the last 4 teams. Calvary is actually struggling with 10 points. Can you imagine? You're struggling, but you have 10 points on the board. Anyway, in Uganda, when you have those points, especially in this FUFA Big League, you are bound to stay in the league, but you can see they are struggling there in red zone. That is the big league table. And Ginger North United also coming in there with 8 points. Coach Sadiq Sempiji has not yet gotten some light in Busoga, and Ndeje University there with 7 points. Yeah, you're looking at those edges. I can see you're trying to go deep with that squad and their edges. Anyway, Young Elephants there with 5 points, struggling at the bottom of the FUFA Big League table, Edgar. We can see everything in the Bet-Power Big League is starting to make a difference, especially with those teams that are actually struggling down the table. I just don't know what will happen to something like Ginger North. Karokalunji will stay. Karokalunji will stay. They are promising, and they win only at home.
And that's what I'm saying. Karokalunji was saying they are going to come to the big boys. Okay. The big boys.
Yeah, in the Uganda Premier League, we saw Chitara losing their first game of the season, actually losing to Bull. Bull roasted Chitara. Anyway, 2-1 there. We had some pictures there coming in from FUFA Technical Center in Njeru, and they were disgusting as the heavy downpour delayed the game for over 25 minutes, and you could have seen FUFA Technical Center in Njeru flooded with water. Anyway, flooded with water. Everything was at standstill. In fact, spectators who came around, they kept looking at the referee, asking, waving, blowing their vuvuzelas, asking for the game to be actually resumed amidst heavy storms. But we also saw Chitara there losing their first game in this season. Brian Senyondo had made a record. Going to all these games without losing was something to do with record-breaking, Edgar. I have not seen a team in Uganda hold such a number of games without losing. Elsewhere, we also saw Express being beaten for the first time, beaten by Maroons. Maroons had never defeated Express at Wankuluku Stadium, but we saw
Sali yazanye.
Yeah, Sali played. I told you he played and he had 2 chances to score, but he missed a few of them anyway. Edgar, Sali is a promising talent, and we expect him actually to change the type of the game. Those were the pictures coming in from Fufa Technical Center in Njeru. You could clearly see Chitala was actually fighting for their life when they visited the Bulls there in Fufa Technical Center in Njeru. Elsewhere, Bushanyi Veterans also maintained their record, their unbeaten record. No. It's not because I like them, but I only go with the updates. Bushanyi Veterans managed to keep a clean sheet against the strong boys. You could clearly see, look at that picture. Edgar, you can tell our facilities. You can tell the season. This is a rainy season, and almost everywhere across the country we witness such situations.
But
yeah, but when you look at those pictures, Edgar, there's no way you can feel. Just look at that. Edgar, just look at that picture. That was Bushanyi Veterans in action against Chambula Rastas. They beat them 2-0 through a penalty. In fact, Edgar, when you look at a team that gets a penalty almost every game, you start saying that the referees are corrupt. Anyway, those were the pictures coming in there. In fact, Wizwera was also flooded.
Penalty was part of the game.
Yeah, penalty is part of the game. You have to manage your players' conditions so that they should not concede those penalties. Elsewhere, the Sekafa results, we saw Uganda losing their first game to Tanzania 1-0, but they came back strong yesterday evening after they beat Zanzibar also 1-0 to maintain their chances of qualifying for the knockout stages. That was in the Sekafa Under-18 championships that are actually taking place in 3 cities of Kenya, that is Kakamega, Nakuru and Nairobi. We saw Uganda boys, the Under-18 beating Zanzibar there at the Mambo Leo Stadium. Edgar, that place, it had become a nightmare for us in the first game after losing to Tanzania. And I told you, Tanzania is one of the challengers in this Under-18 trophy. Away from that, we saw the City Oilers also qualifying for the Basketball Africa League that's going actually to take place in 2024. These games were somewhere in South Africa, that is in the city of Pretoria. We saw also a statement coming in from City Oilers, and there it goes there. It actually read, if you can see, Edgar, these guys are trying to tell us that we have been there. We have supported them, and they are there for us. We are also going to support them. When we see a team that's trying to give us a message like this, it means they are with us. They value our support. The statement goes to say, thank you. As the dust settles on our road to Brazil to Ball 2024 journey, we wanted to take a moment to express our deepest gratitude for your unwavering support from our loyal fans at home to our international supporters across the globe. You have been the driving force behind our success. We are so lucky to have you as part of our team. That is the City Oilers statement that came in after we had lost our game, Edgar. We lost that final game. In fact, you could see 68.
We just lost another.
Yeah, that's the final. That was the final game. City Oilers lost to Cape Town 68-70. It was a very tight. It was a very tight call.
You're promising Bibao.
Yeah, it was a very tight call, Edgar. We also have some other news coming in there, Edgar. Before we go to that cricket update, I would want to remind our viewers that Uganda now has qualified for the Ball Africa League, or Basketball Africa League, that actually is going to take place in 2024 for the second consecutive time. And we have had 4 new debutants, about 2 times that we have seen 4 derby entrants. And Edgar, this Ball Africa is going to have 16 teams, but of the 64, about 4 are new debutants. So expect Uganda to give a challenge there. We go to cricket, Edgar. You can see the cricket cranes. They are just very, very happy, and they played a very good game. We beat Nigeria.
Sri Lanka.
No, not yet. Sri Lanka, we shall actually have a friendly in the test of the T20 in 2024. We shall play Sri Lanka and New Zealand in those two. In the test of the T20 World Cup, we shall also have a chance to play against those two teams. But Edgar, Uganda cricket
won by 9 wickets.
Yeah, Uganda cricket cranes is actually on fire these days. We only lost to once.
Cricket.
Yeah, I tried cricket when I was still in Kampala. Edgar, there's something that is actually interesting. Edgar, targeting that wicket is one of the... Edgar, can you imagine how many can you hit? Edgar, after actually beating Nigeria, we had some few statements coming in from our players like Simon Sesazi and Riziat. Riziat has become man of the match three consecutive times. Riazat has actually become our savior. Away from that, we can take you to action in the regional league that we had across the weekend. We had some results coming in from the FUFA Western Region League. And Edgar, guess what? Some of the teams in this region have started writing to the federation so that they can postpone their games due to harsh weather conditions around their home areas and the poor state of the pitches where they host their games. As you can see over there, those were the results coming in for the first time on Saturday. Ntoda beat Chihi Young Boys. This was also kind of a derby, but Ntoda win 4-0 against Chihi Young Boys at home in Chamate. Rugarama FC also beat Omunjeni Football Club 2-0, as we saw Ibanda Municipal lose to Nyamitiobola Football Club 1-0. Ediga Nyamitiobola won their second game of the season, taking them to 10 points on the table. But Ushanyi Veterans also beat... Why do you hate Nyamitobola so much anyway, Edgar? That is our team. Sinda City, one of the oldest teams here. Bushanyi Veterans also beat Bwizwera 2-0, and you saw pictures coming in from Bwizwera as the pitches were all flooded in this region. Chirugu FC also beat Rushere Hospital 2-0. Rushere has not had a win this season. I think Rushere are going down. Rwampara Bulls beat Rukunji United 3-1, and Gorilla Highlands also beat Nyasa Football Club. That was on Saturday. And on Sunday we had a few games, 3 of them. FC Lions also beat Ntungamo. Anyway, Edgar, this thing of Rubar FC becoming the champion of Ntungamo is very hard, and FC Lions is also competing with Ntoda to take over the championship in Ntungamo. Anyway, FC Lions had their third win, beating Rubar FC in Ntungamo there, and we also saw Bunyaruguru win 3-0 against Chambula Rastas. Chambula Rastas is actually having a coach player called Jamal. We can see Rastas, they had their coach also come from prison. He was imprisoned, and after his release, that is 2 years later, he said, I have to resume this game. For the love of the game, he resumed, and now the team is just there. 6 o'clock also had their third win of the season after beating Rushango Dynamic 3-0 at home in Chizinda. That was the action coming in there from the Western Regional League. We expect some more results. According to the table, in the Ankole sub-region, Bunyaruguru is still leading with 21 points after 7 games, and Bushanyi Veterans coming in second. Though Bushanyi Veterans has actually drawn 1 game, that is why they have 19 points behind Bunyaruguru United. Bwizwera coming in... Bwizwera has just now pulled up some show. Bwizwera, they are in third with 11 points. But anyway, you can see the difference, Edgar. 11, someone has 21, and you have 11. The bottom table here in Ankole sub-region, we have Chirugu Football Club, who are standing at 7, and Rushango Dynamic standing there also at 1 point. Rushere Hospital, I told you, has had no win since the beginning of the season. I think they are going down. You cannot lose all these games and you think you're staying afloat. Ntoda is still leading in the Chigezi sub-region, as we can see, with 14 points after 6 games. Rugarama also coming in second with 13 points after 5 games. They still have a game in hand. Therefore, we have Omunjeni also at the bottom of the table with 3 points. Edgar, that's the update coming in there from the regional league. Away from that, we had some rugby action, rugby Uganda Cup. We also saw some rugby action across the weekend, but I shall not give you all those results, but I will give you an update about the Rugby Uganda Cup. It's coming on back on 3rd. That will be the 3rd leg of the Uganda Cup. We shall see all that action in our subsequent programs there. Yeah, Dams Water in Ginger, and we shall also have somewhere at Kings Park Arena in Kings Park Arena in Entebbe. Edgar, on the sad note, Uganda has pulled out of the Africa Netball Championship that was actually going to take place in 2024, simply because they are citing reasons of management issues and lack of preparations. The tournament should have actually taken place on 21st, but was postponed to December. However, Uganda could not use that chance of that league or tournament being pushed ahead. We are citing issues of mismanagement and lack of preparedness to compete in the league. What a pity. I remember we are the 2nd in Africa. Yes, that team that performed better in the last 2 World Cups
of the Nansangas
will know everything about that.
So the problem is
management issues. You know, there were issues of issues of financial mismanagement as the president.
You see, there's also a thing.
The issue is like this. National Council of Sports claims they give out money to the Netball Federation. In actual sense, National Council of Sports does not give money to the federation. They recently, Bernard Ogwe recently forced Sarah Babiri Chicho, the president of the federation, to sign and acknowledge the receipt of 483 million Uganda shillings, when actually they gave the national team 183 million when they were going to Namibia for the World Cup series. EDGAR, issues are rising, and for the first time,
Sarah thought she would survive.
Because Sarah could not acknowledge.
She's under the docket of who?
National Council of Sports already.
And National Council of Sports is under which docket?
Ministry of Sports.
Who is the Minister of Sports?
Peter Ogwang.
The minister.
The minister has nothing to do with this.
No, it goes down because it's through her.
Yeah, no.
It's through the big lady.
The big lady. The big lady actually.
Because if she intervened, it would actually.
But she did. She intervened and said,
chasing Sarah,
and said Brigadier Biekwaso should come in and be helping that team. But after some days, we saw the minister also intervening and trying to put Sarah aside. That tells you the Ministry of Sports has a hand in the said monies. That is why we are failing.
And who is in charge?
The big lady. Actually, let me tell you, Edgar. The big lady has no knowledge about sports. She has that knowledge about education.
Who is in charge of that ministry first?
Edgar.
Because she has to, being with knowledge of that, who is in charge?
Edgar.
Sarah was fighting a battle that was too huge for her, and she even knows it, I'm very sure.
Yeah, but
anyway, we'll continue.
Edgar, I can confirm that we shall not have Uganda participate in the coming championships of netball, as we see Uganda's statement pulling out.
Very, very sad.
Anyway, Edgar, in rugby, Uganda Lady Rugby Cranes lost twice against Tunisia in the test series, when actually we are going to have Tunisia visitors here next year in 2024 for the return legs. The first leg was in Tunisia and we had to stay there, play 2 games, but we expect Tunisia to come here next year. That is when I think we shall overcome them. But the men are doing better. They also beat Tunisia twice. In fact, when you beat Tunisia, Edgar, in rugby, you are bound to be one of the biggest rugby powerhouse here in Africa.
Thank you very much, Jasper. Of course, he will be coming back exactly 3 p.m. to give us what he does best in detail. So if you want to get to know what's happening in the world of sports, and I want him to come with a detailed report, exactly a detailed report as far as Sarah and netball and that ministry. There are some information that I need you to dig, but you dig carefully. Anyway, thank you very much. We are going to continue with the morning bell. Let's take a breather. I'll return.